Hello and welcome back to another breaking news update. My name is Jimmy Boyd and you are watching Boyd News. I want to thank you so much for tuning in today. Today's date is March 15th, 2024, and I've got some breaking news coming out here for you regarding the Gaza war between the Israeli Defense Forces and Hamas. So, the ground invasion has been approved by the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu as of today. So he told the Israeli Defense Forces for sure they are going to be going into Rafah. And Rafah is the southernmost city in the Gaza Strip. And right now it's compacted with about upwards of 1.3 to 1.5 million Gazan civilians. Okay, these are Palestinians that are there, innocent civilians. Okay, and they supposedly have a plan to get these people out of here. I don't know what they're going to do, where they're going to move them to. I've heard talks about moving the civilians to the beach, and they were going to set up like thousands upon thousands of tents for them, like temporary tents. And then there was talks about moving them to the north side of Gaza, but I don't know exactly what their plan is here. But supposedly, the Israeli Defense Forces have a plan to evacuate the population before the invasion. So, very big news here coming out. So, we know 100% that Netanyahu is going to send the IDF into Rafah here very soon. We don't have a date as of when that's going to happen, but it should be coming here in the next few weeks, I would assume. All right. So, also, I've got some information here that the Senate Majority Leader, Chuck Schumer, he's coming out on a speech as of, I believe, yesterday, and he was defying Benjamin Netanyahu and basically telling the Israeli people to remove him from power and let's elect a new leader that will be for a ceasefire and for not going into Rafah. Okay, not moving the defense forces into Rafah and continuing on with the invasion. So he's completely against Benjamin Netanyahu. And I had a clip here that I wanted to show you guys. This is on C-SPAN. It's a little blurry to see, but you can definitely hear what he has to say. I want you guys to hear this, and we'll talk about it after. So take a look.
Prime Minister Netanyahu has lost his way by allowing his political survival to take the precedence over the best interests of Israel. He has put himself in coalition with far-right extremists like Ministers Smotrich and Ben-Gvir, and as a result, he has been too willing to tolerate the civilian toll in Gaza, which is pushing support for Israel worldwide to historic lows. Israel cannot survive if it becomes a pariah. Prime Minister Netanyahu has also weakened Israel's political and moral fabric through his attempts to co-opt the judiciary. And he has shown zero interest in doing the courageous and visionary work required to pave the way for peace, even before this present conflict. As a lifelong supporter of Israel, it has become clear to me the Netanyahu coalition no longer fits the needs of Israel after October 7th. The world has changed radically since then, and the Israeli people are being stifled right now by a governing vision that is stuck in the past.
All right, so he's definitely calling for a administration change there and saying that Benjamin Netanyahu should get out and they should reelect somebody else who is more for the ceasefire of Gaza, because obviously he's been completely against this from the very beginning. Okay, Netanyahu has always been very hell bent on wanting to destroy Hamas. He said no one's going to stop them. Nobody will prevent this war from happening, and he's still like that even as of now. That's why he went ahead and approved this this invasion here into the Rafah. Okay, he approved it because he's been like that from the very beginning. That's been his stance the entire time throughout this war. Is that they will not stop until Hamas is completely destroyed. Okay, that is his stance there, and that will never change. And President Biden came out in a meeting as well. I think it was just today, and he came out and agreed with Chuck Schumer. Okay, and he came out and agreed with him and said, "Yeah, Chuck Schumer said the right thing there. I think that's what we need. Basically, we do need a change in administration over there in the with Israel. Okay, and the people of Israel should call for that. Is basically what he was saying. So I've got some more information coming out here. This is on Fox News. Okay. So let's take a look at this. So Netanyahu approves Rafah ground invasion despite Biden opposition. Israeli Defense Forces reportedly planning a civilian evacuation before the invasion. So again, I believe they do have an evacuation plan. They've come up with so many evacuation plans over the past few weeks that I don't know exactly which one it is they're planning to do. But supposedly they have a plan here to get the people out before they invade. So it says here Israel will commence an invasion into Gaza city of Rafah, despite protests from the United States and other international powers. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu announced approval of the operation via his office on Friday. The Israeli Defense Force will invade the city in southern Gaza as part of its larger military operations in the region. So they're definitely going in. And it says right here Netanyahu vows to invade Rafah regardless of potential ceasefire with Hamas. It will happen. So he's stating basically that even if they do garnish a ceasefire deal here, that they're going to go in no matter what. Okay, as long as he's prime minister, they're going to go into Rafah here. It says the operation reportedly included an evacuation of civilians, according to the Jerusalem Post. The prime minister's office also announced that an Israeli delegation would leave for Doha to continue negotiations for the release of hostages. The security cabinet must first arrive at a comprehensive position on the pressing issue. So I do know, as far as negotiations, that apparently Hamas put out another proposal again and again. What happened here was that Netanyahu shot it down. Okay, he's done that multiple times as well. Every time Hamas came up with some sort of proposal, they immediately just shot it down. Okay, the Israeli government, along with Netanyahu. U.S. government has repeatedly opposed Israeli plans to launch the Rafah ground invasion. The administration is said to have proposed a draft UN Security Council resolution, which in part would call for a temporary ceasefire and call on Israel not to go into Rafah and the Gaza Strip. That has yet to come to light. They haven't done that yet. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer went so far as to call for a change of leadership in Israel that is more willing to consider a ceasefire and abandons plans for further ground operations. So, just like that video I showed you earlier, President Biden seemed to sign off on these remarks, saying on Friday from the Oval Office, Senator Schumer contacted my staff, my senior staff. I'm not going to elaborate on the speech. He made a good speech, and I think he expressed a serious concern, shared not only by him, but by many Americans. So, we're definitely starting to see the White House pull away from the support of Israel. But we have had Biden come out many times and say that although we don't agree with Benjamin Netanyahu, the support of Israel is still critical. Okay, so they're still backing Israel, although they're saying, we're not for this invasion of Rafah. Even though Benjamin Netanyahu wants to do this, that they still they're still going to back Israel regardless. Okay, they have to because they're critical to the Middle East, is what Biden said. So the Israeli government released its post-war plan for Gaza last month, a deal that was immediately rejected by Palestinian officials. Under the plan, Israel would seek open-ended control over security and civilian affairs in the Gaza Strip. Netanyahu's government has flatly rejected calls for a two-state solution, which Biden's administration continues to push for. Okay, so they're still trying to go for this two-state solution over here. And basically all the talks over here, the hostage deals and all these things, nothing has really gotten anywhere at this point. Okay, that's exactly why we're leading up to the point where Israel's about to launch this invasion into Rafah. And just about a month ago, Netanyahu said that if they did not have a ceasefire deal by Ramadan, which was supposed to be about 3 days ago, roughly, is when this would have began, that they were going to go in. So I don't know why they're delaying this, but I do know that Defense Minister Yoav Gallant of Israel, he came out the other day. I saw a report where he told all of his troops and the people of Israel that, if you think that we're delaying this operation, you're mistaken. If you think that we're doing this on purpose, like, no, they're probably only doing this right now to allow for negotiations, but lo and behold, they're going to go into Rafah. That's basically what he said. Okay. So regardless of what anybody else is saying, pay attention to what Netanyahu says here. If he says they're going to go in, more than likely they're going in, okay? And he's already signed off on this deal. So it looks like this thing's going to happen here. And again, we don't have an exact date. Maybe that information will come out here soon in the next few days or the next week. But as of now, we don't have an exact date when they'll be going in. But I think right now, what they're more concerned with is getting these civilians out of here because they know if they go in right now, when all these civilians are there, there's going to be massive, massive amounts of casualties, and they can't have that. So we'll have to see what happens here. I'm sure more information will come out, and then when it does, I will definitely update you all. So thank you so much for being here. If you enjoyed this update, please smash the like button. And also, if you enjoy my content, please consider subscribing down below. Hit the notification bell. That way YouTube can notify you. And with that, I hope you all have a great day. Thank you so much for tuning in. Take care and God bless. We'll see you in the next one.